I mean, when you see them, the old saying, door handle to door handle.
Yeah.
No, they was keyhole to keyhole,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes going through the corners,
Mm-hmm.
And nobody was laying on anybody. Everybody was very respectful, very polite.
I didn't see one bit of rough or dirty driving.
No
I don't
shoving,
think
no
by
pushing.
anybody.
Tons of respect between those
Yeah.
drivers. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not tearing up cars.
I mean, the only thing I saw that was, and it wasn't even dirty, it was just racing, was the deal with Nick Trenchard down in turn 2 when they went 3 wide and everybody went for the same real estate at the same time. Trenchard got the bad end of the deal with, I think he had some broken suspension up front, and it's too bad because he was fast. That 54N car was wheeling and dealing there, and it was just in the early stages, but I mean he was going forward. You hate to see a guy start the season like that. I mean, nobody wants that. It was a shame, but I'm trying to recollect the IMCA modified feature. Here's the thing. The young man that won it, 4th start behind the wheel of a modified. Okay. He's 18 years old. And you look at Albert Gill, the 89 car, is known to be wicked fast. So is Mark Waggy. So is, 90% of that field was in there. Jesse Bailey was fast in the early part. There were so many guys that could have won that deal. And there was several guys that were shooting it out for the lead, and it was lap traffic that settled it. Here's what I was watching in the late stages. Now the leader was good, he was fast. The guy running second was reeling him in. And I think, given where they were on the track, where the back markers were, and what was going on with the cars, you give that race 5 or 6 more laps. And I think Mark Waggy's right there in the mix for the win. He is a 7-time track champion there. He is committed to going for a record-tying 8th, okay, believe it or not, a record-tying 8th title at Southern Oregon Speedway.
That'll be impressive.
It'll be impressive if he can do it. Just the fact that he can win a championship against this field of modifieds is impressive in itself. But to win 8, that's unheard of. That's not going to be easy.
And it's not because of lack of competition.
Well...
Not
that's the
guys.
problem right there, is the competition,
Yeah.
And Mark knows that. Mark knows, hey, listen, he's a seasoned driver. I've seen Mark win races at multiple tracks against some of the best modified competition you'll find in the Western region. But he's going to have his hands full there at Southern Oregon. He's going to have his hands full. It is going to be a tough venture to chase down that 8th title.
It's going to be tough.
I don't know. I don't know as a racer, if I'm Mark, if I want to. I get why he's doing it. I get it. I understand it. I mean, that's 8 titles. There's only been one other driver to ever do it. I don't know his name. I can't remember. I'm learning the history. Be patient with me. I get it. But that is a phenomenal accomplishment.
But it all comes down to the point. Why do you do it? Because you can.
Because you love the sport.
That's right. It's because you can.
And Mark Waggy will not walk away from a challenge.
And you can say
on
commitment,
a dirt track.
Commitment, talent, equipment.
Yep.
You know.
He's got all that. A lot of these guys have all that. That was,
yeah.
My goodness.
I was impressed. When we did the pit, when we walked through the pits and I looked at the cars, there's some nice looking rides out there.
Good equipment.
I would be proud to climb in any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that they would let me or nothing, but
probably not.
Probably not.
We'll see about mid-season.
Yeah, about mid-season when they all banged and beat up, But no, not really. I didn't see, like you said, I didn't see that much banging and bumping going on. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that steel bumper used many, 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 many times.
Yeah, I didn't see.
But I didn't see that.
The respect that these guys had for each other, and they raced each other hard. Don't get me wrong. There was some hard racing. I mean, just look at the sport mod and the IMCA modified feature. Those guys went at it.
It's like watching the Nationals last year, the finals. When they was racing back in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
They was racing back there, and you see the big boys, and they're out there running keyhole to keyhole, side to side. A gnat can't fly between both cars, and they're still not leaning on each other. That's what I seen the other night.
But why do they do that?
Because they're good.
And you can't win if you wreck out.
Nope. You can't drive off a wrecked car.
Nope.
You'll get that ride on the hook.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get the hook, fast. But none of us want the hook, for God's sake. That's the last thing any driver wants is the hook. And seeing that wonderful hook come out there to you, you're going,
So, see, this is what I love. This is what I love about this place already that we're at, Southern Oregon Speedway. I absolutely love this place. This is why. Eric Schwab, truck driver, or the tow truck driver down there, as I'm talking about David Marvel, he shoots in on the chat line and says, first year, first race in a sprint car for David Marvel. I didn't know that. I knew he was new to sprint cars. I didn't realize that was his first race.
Wow.
Serious?
You wouldn't know it by watching.
No.
You wouldn't know that by watching him. He did a darn good job. Look at Gary's out there going,
dang.
I think I can do the sprint car stuff.
I don't know.
Gary,
it's tough.
Don't do it.
It's tough.
Don't do it.
It's a whole new
I ran
experience.
mini sprints for 2 years, and I'm telling you right now, those things, you hurt.
It's another animal.
They'll
hurt chew you up and spit you out, and you'll have belt marks on your shoulders.
Your hands never stop moving.
And why,
they got to be numb for at least 3 days afterwards from white knuckling it.
Why do you use arm restraints in a sprint car? Duh.
Yeah. So I want your I want you to kind of give me some of your highlights of last Saturday, Gary.
Oh boy, where do I start? I mean, everything from getting to meet 90% of the drivers out there. The reception from everybody was great. Interacting with their teams and the drivers, the respect they have for each other. Nobody was smack talking anybody else. Everything was clean. You need to go talk to that guy over there. There was a lot of that going on, and the way that the cars roll out on that track is quick.
The show
is just fast paced. There is no dead time.
Kind of reminds me of Bakersfield.
Well, and I was getting ready to say it. Just like when we do the Bud Nationals every year, there are no breaks.
No.
There are no breaks. That was kind of exactly what we had talked about on the way home. Was very, very similar in how they run that show. I mean, they've got it down. It clicks. It rolls. The next
momentum.
race is on.
Just full on momentum for everybody.
Now, I don't know if I'd call that a highlight for me, but
they finished the race. The winner will make an extra lap. They're already running off the off-road.
Right.
And on the in-road, here comes the other cars.
They're
already lined up coming in there, and by the time those are off, these guys are already lining up.
Oh,
very well coordinated.
I'm watching a checker flag drop, and then all of a sudden there's sprint cars on the track.
Yeah.
That's a
very well coordinated show.
Yep.
Yes.
The staff down there has got it down. I want to tell you, there's some people that I want to thank that helped me out. Don Martin, sitting there, he's in the scoring, in the scoring side of the tower, and if I needed info on anything, crack the door, peek my head around, hey Don, holding the mic away, and what's this? Boom. Oh, that's boom. Or this guy did that. Or boom, boom. 3-time track champion. Boom, boom, boom. It's just, if I needed something,
he's like a Rolodex.
He's like the Rain Man of racing at Southern Oregon Speedway. It was just, the answer was there. Huge help for me on my first night in the tower down there when you're still learning names, getting familiar to how things go, and the format I got there. He had, okay, here's our format. It was taped up. This is what we're gonna do. This is a timeline. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the podium finishes from last year. Here's a list of track champions. Here's who won last year, and I was just going.
Well, Gary,
wow.
I got to give Corey kudos too, because to be honest with you, it sounded like he'd been down there for a year.
I know.
I mean, it flows. I made a post the other day on Moxie, and I think it got on the Southern Oregon Speedway too. And I just said, Corey, it sounded like he'd been there forever.
Yeah.
It was already calling car numbers, names, just
now,
rolling.
I was familiar with some of those names.
Yeah.
The others, my wife Sandy, I got to give her a shout out because
she's there showing you numbers.
She's
and stuff.
got names and numbers and lineups for me next, and so if I needed something, I could look over. Boom, there's that driver's name with that car. You do that 2 or 3 times, and it starts to register. At the end of the night, my son says, "Dad, how do you remember all those names and numbers?" And I said, It's repetition.
And it's also probably the Moxie sheets. That's why it's important.
You know
to
what?
get
Yeah,
those.
we had part of that.
You didn't even look at those?
I didn't look at one of them.
And we picked them all out, didn't
I
we?
know.
Yeah.
I didn't look at one of those Saturday night.
Really?
So when he has the listeners out there that hear Moxie sheets, the guys that were there in the pit area those are what we handed out for you guys to fill out. Your name, and it's got all your info, your age, your chassis, your accomplishments, your sponsors, all that stuff. I like to use that when I'm talking about. It's your thing. I like to use those. I thought my phone was turned off. I like to use those when I'm talking about each driver because it becomes personable. Every driver has fans. And when they can learn something about their favorite driver, they love that. They absolutely love that. And that's what I try to do. I try to not just announce the races, but make it an experience. I want some of the fans to walk away going, man, I didn't know that about so-and-so. That's the kind of stuff I like to do when there's time to do it. That's going to be hard to do at Southern Oregon Speedway. It's going to be hard to do.
It flows.
But it's that was a coordinated effort by a lot of people that helped me out. And, the whole scoring, the 2 scoring ladies, Dawn, Sandy, you guys, Gary in the pit area on the radio saying, hey, boom, 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 boom. It's not fair to you guys that I get to be the face and people say, oh, that was awesome. Corey did a great job. You guys understand how much help there goes into that.
We're the eyeballs. So.
My eyes and ears. My eyes and ears. But I think that is what helps create the experience for the fans, the sponsors, the teams. That's my whole approach. Is to put together a package of people that can do all that. And I think we've got, I'm not going to say I know we have a very, very good package put together now. And I am, number one, blessed, but very, very excited to have this team together this year. We're going to have a good time, and hopefully we can bring a whole new, I don't want to say style, but a whole new way of doing things.
Experience.
A
fan experience. That's what
well,
we're there
for. Everybody.
For. Yeah,
for everybody.
For everybody.
I'm excited about this season, and
I told a couple of drivers the other day when we was walking through the pits, I was handing out stickers, and I said, make sure to put this over here because I'm the eye in the sky. I'm the drone pilot, and I'm here to make you famous. And
That's right.
One guy looked at me and he goes,
he says, I'm here to make you famous.
Man, you got a job on your hands. I said, you do it, I'll see it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
But I love interacting with the fans and the drivers, and I had some really good interactions beside that little girl, too, after the races was over, had a little break, and there's a circle over there in front of I'll go ahead and say it, over there in front of the beer stand. There's a big circle of people standing there, and, I'm not bashful. And there was just a little bit of room between a guy and a girl, so I just kind of elbowed my way in there, and I'm standing there, and they all got a beer in their hands, and the girl's got a bag of popcorn. Well, automatically, my right hand just comes up, and she sticks that bag of popcorn in, and she says, you think you're going to get this? You're out of your mind. And they was all nice. They introduced themselves, and they said, welcome to Southern Oregon Speedway. You guys are doing a great job. And that makes me feel good, being a part of a successful crew that does a good job. We want to do a good job. And I'm gonna say it, too. If you have any comments or questions, as fans, drivers, crew chiefs, whatever. If you got any questions for us,
any information, go to Moxie Media and Promotions on Facebook.
Or just ask us personally.
Yeah, get a hold of us at the track.
Or if you see something you don't like that we're doing wrong, come up and tell us. We probably won't change. No, I'm not, I'm not kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if you see something, or if you think of something you would like more than what we're doing, then let us know. If we can get it into the program, by all means, we'll stick it in there,
Without a doubt. Where we come from, our background, typically we dealt with 4 to 6 classes. 6 was a long night at the
Yeah.
tracks we've been to. But we did that week in and week out. This year at Southern Oregon